Boris RED is a compositing, effects, and titling application which plugs into EDIUS. Open RED in standalone mode. Look for the library browser. If it's not visible, go to Window, Library Browser, or you can press the default shortcut Ctrl+9. Select the top folder, RED 5 Keyframe Library, and depending on how you like your thumbs, choose Generate Thumbnails or Animate Thumbnails Preview. I like the thumbs to be animated, especially handy when looking at previews of a transition. I have noticed that in standalone mode, the thumbnails created are of higher quality compared to those created when RED is running as a plug in EDIUS. When this is completed, exit Boris RED. Start EDIUS 7. Go to the Effects palette. Boris RED will install two entries in the Effects palette. The first one is under Video Filters. In the Boris folder, you will find an entry called Boris RED 5 FL. FL stands for filter. You can use it as a filter on your video clips. The second entry can be found in the Boris folder under Transitions. As you can see, it says Boris RED 5 TR, which stands for Transitions. These transitions can be used in AB mode or on the same track. In this tutorial, I'm going to show a corner pinning example. Select the clip you want to corner pin on. I'll use a clip which was shot on a rainy day. It's a boat-to-boat shot. Both the camera and the subject are moving. Apply the Boris FX red filter. Open it by double-clicking on it in the Effects palette. In the Boris RED timeline, you will see the clip which has the filter applied to it. It's called Video 1. You can see that it's red because it's actively selected. Right-click in the gray area below the clip and go to New Filter, Motion, and choose Corner Pin Tracker. You'll see that the corner pin tracker is directly applied to the timeline. Let me delete the corner pin tracker to show how you can do this another way. Deselect the clip by clicking the gray area below it. You'll see that it will turn gray. Go to Filters, Motion, Corner Pin Tracker. The filter appears in the timeline. If by accident you have applied the corner pin tracker directly to the clip, you can drag it to a separate track above the clip. This can be done even if you already have done the tracking. If you apply the corner pin tracker directly to the timeline, you can apply other filters to the video without affecting the corner pin source. Once you have applied the corner pin tracker, click on it so it turns active and you will see that it will turn red. Click on the monitor icon in the corner pin tracker. This will open a new monitoring window where you will see the tracking boxes. You can open the corner pin window in a separate window. This is very handy when using it on a system with dual screens. Let's look at the control palette of the corner pin. You will see the color and the corresponding number of the boxes. Every tracker consists of two boxes. The small one is the target region. It tells RED what to track for that corner, and the bigger box sets the area where RED should look for that target. Note that a larger search region requires more processing time. Keep that in mind when adjusting. You can adjust the size of the search area and target region within the Search and Target tab. You can also do this with your mouse. Draw Regions turns the display of the search boxes off or on. Draw Centers lets you see the path of the motion tracker. You can see where the tracking points are at any given moment in time. The region zooms enlarges the target region so you can define the target region accurately. In the Advanced tab, there are settings which can help you get better tracking results if the default values fail. The pre-blur reduces noise in the footage to aid in the tracking. The input channel gives a few selections you can try if the default luminance channel selection is not giving you accurate results. You can set the accuracy with a subpixel accuracy setting. The smaller the value, the better the accuracy. Processing time increases when the accuracy is set to smaller values. In the crop source palette, you can make adjustments to the corner pin source. Now that we have taken a look at the corner pin tracker control palette, let's go back to the tracking. The shot I'm using has no applied corner markers and is a bit of a difficult shot. I want to put a logo on the old freezer these fishermen use to put their catch on ice. The object is moving forward and up and down, and the camera, which is shoulder mounted, is also moving. Let's look at the region if we can find any points of interest. I see that the region has at least 3 points of interest for motion tracking. Before you start positioning track boxes, make sure your playline is at the beginning of the clip. Let's start positioning tracker 1. I'll set the tracking region on dispatch and make the area where Boris RED should look for it a bit smaller. For the next point, I'll use the rusted hinge. For the third region, I use this spot. For the fourth region, I use the cloth. Turn off keyframes and let's start with the tracking. The great thing is that you can see where the tracker is in time and you can make adjustments if you see that things are going wrong. Let's look at tracker 1. Everything goes correctly. I'll do the other tracking points and come back when they are completed. I had no issues with the tracking. This goes to show how good the tracking in Boris RED actually is. Now I'm going to define my corner pin source. This is done in the corner pin source setting. I'll choose Still and browse to the logo I want to use. The logo is a bit too big for my taste. I'll scale it in the crop source to about 74%. Apply and exit. Since this effect cannot be played in real time on my system, I'll select the clip, press Z on my keyboard to mark in and out, and use Shift+Q to render. After the render is completed, I can play it back in real time. This tutorial only touched the surface of what you can do with Boris RED 5 in EDIUS.